The population expected an ordinary winter morning. London moved through the cold, its residents doing whatever they could to stay warm. Each burning fireplace added to a growing, invisible threat. That threat became a catastrophe as a chain of events unfolded, pushing the capital into a suffocating haze. Pedestrians walked in near blindness, unable to see their own feet through the thickening smog. But the real danger was not what they couldn't see. With every breath, they were drawing a corrosive haze deep into their lungs, slowly damaging the tissue that kept them alive. Hello, I am Clank Unit. Your robot. In the 1950s, London ran on constant combustion. Homes were heated by burning coal, day and night. Along the banks of the River Thames, large coal-fired power stations loomed over the city. From every chimney and industrial vent, thick smoke poured steadily into the air. A weakened post-war economy shaped domestic fuel policy. The government exported its highest quality coal to generate foreign revenue, leaving local residents with a lower-grade, sulfur-rich substitute. The freezing winter temperatures drove residents to feed their household fireplaces with this sulfur-rich coal. This inferior fuel released dense, toxic fumes, filling the air not only with heavy smoke but also with harmful chemicals that would later damage those exposed to them across the region. The final element fell into place. A quiet meteorological anomaly stilled the air over the capital, halting the wind and trapping the city beneath a thermal inversion. A layer of warmer air settled above the colder air at ground level, sealing it in place and preventing anything below from rising. Under normal conditions, heated gases rise and carry smoke into the upper atmosphere. Here, the thermal inversion trapped emissions at street level. A stagnant layer of air settled over the city, preventing the smoke from dispersing. Exhaust from cars, homes, and power stations built up in the confined space. As these factors converged, the city moved closer to a breaking point. On the morning of Friday, December 5, 1952, people carried on with their routines. They left for work and school beneath a thick haze that hid the rising sun. As the hours passed, the air steadily worsened. By midday, visibility had all but disappeared. A thick layer of soot settled on exposed skin and irritated the throat with every breath. Still, the population carried on, unaware as the city sank deeper into a dark, suffocating cloud of its own making. On the streets, the experience collapsed into a haze of isolation and disorientation. The density of the air blinded pedestrians, leaving them unable to see their own feet as they moved. A dim, yellow haze swallowed the city's visibility. Overhead streetlights dissolved into faint, useless glows. Surface transportation ground to a halt, and drivers abandoned their vehicles where they stood. An unnatural silence settled over the capital, broken only by the rasp of dry coughing and the shuffle of uncertain footsteps. Residents moved through the city by touch alone. They dragged their feet along the pavement, feeling for curbs and hidden obstacles, and kept their hands pressed to brick walls, tracing the masonry in search of familiar turns. When night fell, the darkness only deepened the already blinding haze. The loss of visibility gave cover to opportunistic crime. Street thefts and assaults rose quickly, as the dense smog concealed attackers from their victims. The environment marked anyone who stepped outside. The thick air coated exposed skin and clothing with a dark residue of soot and acidic grime. An even greater threat was building in the air itself. The low-grade coal burning in millions of household fireplaces released vast amounts of sulfur dioxide into the trapped atmosphere. Heavy moisture drove a quiet chemical shift, as the gas reacted with water in the air to form acidic particles. Suspended in the smog, these particles were small enough to be inhaled deep into the respiratory system. With each breath, they reached the lungs, damaging the tissue and leaving injuries that were often severe and irreversible. Hospitals were quickly overwhelmed by the sudden crisis. The death toll rose sharply, filling every available bed. As casualties continued to arrive, hospital morgues were pushed beyond their capacity. In just 5 days, an estimated 4,000 people died. The damage did not end when the air began to clear. Pollutants lingering in survivors' lungs continued to take their toll, raising the final death count to around 12,000. Another 100,000 people survived, but many were left with severe and lasting damage to their respiratory systems. Planck Unit, robot.